What's going on? It's the HODLs. We back in here with another video, man. It is Saturday, and so I'm just cruising the city. I got some shopping done earlier this morning. One of the first things I did. I'm going to definitely hit the gym today, but I'm just pick up some onions. It's Memorial Day weekend here, so I do get a 3-day weekend, and it will be productive actually for financial reasons. I'm going to be very, very productive, as you want to try to control as much of your life as possible. I talked about this before during these times of just government seizure of your rights, your freedoms, your finances, through taxation and inflation, of course. You want to, I think it's always great. It's not a bad idea to try to figure out ways to be more self-sovereign as much as possible. This is one of the big purposes of why I believe Bitcoin is probably one of the greatest assets that have been created. We're going to get into, I want to talk about in this video a little bit on this ETF, spot ETF that seemed to have gotten the green light from the SEC chairman, I believe almost apprehensively. And it's due to the political pressures coming from the White House, or Capitol Hill, rather. And, of course, this has come to be expected, right? When you can lobby, I mean, nothing's just ever done out of the best interest of the people. It's more so the best interest of the politicians who are... who find themselves to benefit, or who are already vested. Of course, with these types of things, you may have situations of some of these companies or cryptocurrency companies that have lobbied politicians, which is, I would say, one of the big things that I've always not really been concerned about, because I think in a free market, I think people know, the ones who are in the know in the free market, that I think Bitcoin is probably the more superior asset. But when you have cryptocurrency protocols that can issue currencies, that can issue those tokens, or they already have a stockpile of them allocated from pre-mined and so forth, they can definitely push and lobby for their agenda, and as they should. I mean, hey, it is what it is. Politicians can be bought. Now, this is just my speculation. It can't be proven, but I'm almost certain that's how it works. Like I say, because I don't think they're doing this for retail market, wanting to be able to buy these coins on spot ETFs. I mean, statistically, the retail market for the US and probably most other Western countries, their conviction of cryptocurrency is at probably the lowest of lows. I mean, I'm only talking about anecdotal evidence as well as, statistical evidence. You look it up, they've done surveys on whether they believe American people, what percentage of American people own cryptocurrencies, and how many of them also believe that they're scams. And including with my anecdotal evidence from me just being in the financial world as part of my gig, it's just not too popular, honestly. And so I can't really say that it was at a retail demand. Granted that the ETFs were, I would like to say, that the applications were submitted by the very same entities that most of the entities that have applied for the Bitcoin one. But I can speculate for days, but the fact remains that the ETF as of right now seems to be okay. Everybody's okay with it, and that's what it seems to be. That the government is soft on it. That is a pivotal thing that people should pay attention to. I think now what will happen is it'll be a top-down effect. Maybe it'll become more of a familiar household investment vehicle for these altcoins. I guess you could only say ETH at the moment, but you can almost guarantee that there's going to be other altcoins to follow that. If they're claiming, if this was to lead, now this isn't saying that they say altcoins are not securities. They have not come to that conclusion at all. But you can assume that, right? It's like, wow, okay, if you prove a spot ETF, I mean, you don't have to be a commodity to have a spot ETF, which is kind of risky. Can be a little risky. But nonetheless, if that does bring in retail money at some point, then cool. If retail demand picks up, I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those cases where, we knew that there was demand for the Bitcoin spot ETF. That's been documented for almost a decade. But was there demand for Ethereum spot ETF from a certain faction? Probably so. We'll see what degree of demand it is. She always calling at the wrong times. I'll have to call her back. We'll see what degree of demand it is relative to the Ethereum one. I mean, relative to the Bitcoin one. I think the Bitcoin demand that we've seen will dwarf it. But as long as the ETH demand spurs that the Black Rocks and all these guys are buying it, right, to try to back the demand so they can issue these issue these ETFs. As long as they can, as long as the demand from retail backs that, I think that's what they're going to wait for to see, right? This is going to be very interesting. I think it's cool. Whatever. I'm confident in the free market. I think at some point, Bitcoin still demonetizes everything. It's already essentially demonetized altcoins without it even having a spot ETF. So what would be the difference if now everybody has a spot ETF?
Please press the button and please take the parking ticket. Please enter following the guidance.
So I think Bitcoin was already on the path to demonetizing a lot of things. So I don't think it'll make a difference that now everything has an ETF. I think institutions clearly understand. I've seen many interviews of these guys speaking intelligently about Bitcoin. That doesn't mean that they probably won't buy any Ether. I mean, again, if they can find a way to make some fees off of these investment contracts, such as the spot ETFs, then I think that's what they'll do. But very interesting times. Now I think it's going to take a few weeks for the Ethereum spot ETFs to begin trading and all that stuff. I think it's going to take a little time, so it's probably why you don't notice Ethereum has went up or anything drastically. You would think more speculators would be out there to push the price up, but it seems to struggle to get back to all-time highs, as Bitcoin is now still at all-time. Well, it's at its previous all-time high. It's not at its new all-time high, which is like 73. Ethereum struggles to get to back to its previous all-time high, and so I found that interesting as well. So this is times where I think people should get more educated. The market seems to be trying to open up at the moment, at this time. Who knows what changes as elections come along and so forth. This is a wishy-washy government. This is a corrupt government. So I don't hang my hat on too closely to any of this. This is why holding just Bitcoin, holding it, cold storaging it, using it as a means of monetary energy. I mean, it trumps all. It's still the safest bet. Other than that, if we're relying on spot ETFs and all these things, like wholeheartedly, you're lending yourself to centralized powers for a lot of time. They're just a market at the end of the day. What are my concerns? I know this video is getting long. I still think about the consensus validation of Ethereum and proof of stake. It's really dependent on the amount of token holders when it comes to being a validator and having influence on the network. So we're talking about big floods of money now, institutional money able to come in and, acquire as much of the Ethereum as they want. This could probably lend Ethereum to network to some type of capture, which I think is already captured, but definitely now, it's never been a coin or a network for the people. It's going to be a network for the corporations, in my opinion, if at this rate. So we kind of already knew that. So that's something else to be mindful of. Other than that, I think it's time to just continue on participating. This may be the last semi-unregulated cycle. I thought it would be regulated by this point, but it looks like they kind of want it not. I don't know. It's weird. But education is key. I want to help people try to discover value in this market if they're going to play around in the market, which they're going to. They're going to look at, is this human nature? You can't steer them into Bitcoin anymore. These days, people are going to do what they see is best for their dollar. They believe the unit bias idea and the elaborate schemes that some of these altcoins offer. So what I have now created, and I created it like 2 years ago, is an online course. And it's not one of those online courses that's you can just look up stuff easily online, I guess, and piece it together. Maybe you could, but this is more like just what I've discovered to be the best route to just kind of identifying how to find value. What's kind of like a great little checklist of things you should consider if you're going to play in this market as an entirety. And of course, Bitcoin's the standard based on these checklists, but if you're looking at other stuff, this course will probably serve you. It'll protect you the best you can, because the SEC ain't protecting nobody. They may have tried, but it ain't gonna work out that way. So be careful out there, y'all. But understand there's opportunity still now, because it's just opened up. It's opened up wide. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna have y'all enjoy y'all weekend. I'll be sharing that course sometime in the future, maybe about a week or so from now, man. But stay tuned, stay on the lookout for it, because it's short, condensed. It's not one of those long, drawn out courses. I really boiled it down and simplified it. It's easy to understand, so you could use it, reference it as you're navigating this market, because it's wild. Till next time.